guys, welcome to another episode of The Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. I'm Nick.
I'm Ian.
Today we're talking about some great EPs. There's a bunch of links down below. Make sure you check them out. There's links for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for the merch page, for the Spotify and Apple Music playlist we put together every week, and the Patreon page. Make sure you go check all that out. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time we release new episodes. So you might be asking yourself, okay, what's the difference between LP and EP? So I guess just kind of a rough description of the two is an LP is like 7 or more songs. So an EP is 3 to 6 songs roughly. Sometimes they'd be 7. Generally they're 6 or less. And then of course a single is just 2 tracks. So that's kind of the difference between what the different formats. Today we're talking about just EPs, and there's a bunch of great ones over the years. I think there's a couple I have on 7-inch, and generally 7-inch EPs are
singles.
They're kind of rare because it's got to be kind of a short song to fit an EP on a 7-inch. But I listen to a lot of punk music, punk songs. You can fit 45 punk songs into onto a 20-minute album. I feel like, but
sometimes
a lot of them are really short. But one of my favorites is a really short one. This is on a 7-inch. This is Slappy by Green Day. This was part of what would become their debut album, which is just 39 Smooth, and then they had 2 EPs. They had Slappy, which is a great one, and then what was the other one? 10,000 Hours was the other EP. They combined it all, made it into one release. That's the album everyone knows is 1039 Smooth Out Slappy Hours. But this one EP I think is kind of the gem of the earlier part of their career. It's got 4 great tracks on here. You got Paper Lanterns, which is one of my favorite Green Day tracks. 409 and Your Coffee Maker, great track. Why Do You Want Him? And then a cover of a great Operation Ivy song called Knowledge. Those 4 songs, it's definitely interesting to go back and listen to these 4 tracks because I think it's really the pinnacle of that early rougher period for Green Day.
So for me, EPs and singles, I don't generally buy them a lot because a lot of times those songs are just going to end up on the album or they're from another album anyway. So when I buy EPs, it's specifically because of the artist and not necessarily about what's on it. So, I mean, Alice Cooper, obviously I'm going to buy this. And this came out almost, 6 months before Detroit Stories came out, which all these tracks are on Detroit Stories. And I really like the album cover. Plus, again, it's Alice. So I'm going to buy Alice Cooper. It's for a 10-inch, I'm not a big EP guy, but there's a few EPs that I'm going to get. Now, if it's material that's not on an album, I'll definitely buy it. But
I'm a little bit more likely to buy an EP just because I would prefer an EP over, say, like a 7-inch. Because you listen to one track and then got to flip it over. I'm kind of lazy when it comes to listening to music. So an EP, obviously, if I've got my choice, I'll definitely pick a 12-inch EP over a 10-inch and definitely over a 7-inch.
Yeah, for me, it's generally speaking, it's about what material is on there. Yeah. If it's stuff that's not on an album, I have no problem picking up a 7-inch or a 10-inch because it'll complement my collection with those songs. But in most cases, it's going to be something that I'm going to buy because of who it is.
So most of the EPs I have all are just like standalone releases, aren't really part of any other package or any kind of other album you can get. But this is on the cover by MxPx. They recorded this when they were 16 years old. I think this is 1990.
They look like they're 12 on the cover.
They are very young when they recorded this. And I think there was Mike Herrera did an interview where he talked about the recording of these songs. And I think so. This is something their label put together for them. They're on Tooth and Nail at the time. They put all these cover songs together for the band, and the band just went in and recorded them. I don't even think they knew or had heard all the tracks that they did on them. And I think that kind of what makes some of these tracks so great is that they're not really like carbon copy covers. They do their own spin with them. They kind of do their own thing with them. And this is one of my favorite cover albums, and not just because it's MxPx. They do some 50s covers and 60s covers, stuff that you wouldn't really think a punk band in the mid-90s would do. And they do a great job with these.
I like the covers on this. I'm not a big covers person in general, but I do like the covers that are on this album. So this EP is definitely one of the exceptions. Now, this is the Traveling On by the Decemberists. This came out in 2018, right after they released their last studio album, which was the name of it, which is evading me because it's not. I don't like it. It's the only album of theirs I don't like.
Yeah.
But this came out, and this was nothing like that. It came out right after that. And the songs on this were more in tune with what earlier stuff. Yeah, different, but still more in tune. I found this on. Well, I first found it on Spotify, and I was blown away by the tracks on this album, or on this EP. It took me a while to find it on vinyl, and when I finally did, I had to buy it. I think I actually even paid a little bit more than I normally pay for stuff.
Yeah.
I want to say I paid like $30 for this.
Oh, you're blowing the bank there, Ian.
Well, for me, that's... yeah, I'm a cheapskate when it comes to anything. So I was willing to pay a little extra for this to get it, and once I did, it's a fantastic little EP. None of these songs are on any of the albums that.
I'm not familiar with this one.
Yeah, it's like I said, it kind of caught me by surprise. I didn't know it was coming, so.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, and it took me a while to find it on vinyl.
I guess the next one's kind of cheating a little bit. It is an EP, but it's also kind of an album because it's a double EP. This is the band took their earlier EP, combined it with some new material, and released it as a standalone release. Ian considers it an album. It really technically is an EP though, but it is From the Fires by Greta Van Fleet. This was an RSD release from what was it, 2019?
Yeah, something like that.
RSD for 2019. I remember when we went to the record store day. They literally had boxes of course, we're here in Michigan. This is a Michigan band, so they knew they would sell a lot of them. There was literally boxes of them.
That was really at the start of the Greta Van Fleet, when they really just burst out of they burst on the scene, but they were really blowing up.
Yeah. I think at that point they had already been on Saturday Night Live and things like that.
Yeah.
So they were definitely picking up steam as a band. And they eventually sold through all these. And this went for a lot of money on Discogs there for a while. It was like almost $200. It did get reissued not too long ago, so it's definitely come down in price. It's a great album, though. It's a great EP. So their earlier EP, which is Black Smoke Rising, had some really great tracks on it. They combined it with some covers. I think Black Smoke Rising had the Fairport Convention song on there.
I don't remember which one was which. I like the album cover of Black Smoke Rising better.
There's two great covers on here. Meet Me on the Ledge by Fairport Convention. Like Ian said before we started recording, Counting Crows did a better version of it. But their version of Changes Gotta Come, obviously
that's really good.
Of course, it's not as good as the original. Yeah. Sam Cooke was an absolute legend, but it is a damn good version of it.
So this one, I don't actually have a copy of this one.
I do, but it's a deluxe version with another album. So I'll put up a little picture of it right about here.
And it's Pope Star by Ghost. It's got, I like all the songs on it, but it has my favorite Ghost song of all time, which is Square Hammer. I don't know why that song is. I like that song above most of the other ones, but it's a song I can listen to that song over and over again. But it's also got a bunch of other songs. It's got Nocturnal Me on it. It's got Bible.
It's a great EP.
It's a great EP, and none of the songs are on other albums, which is another selling point for me. Yeah. It's definitely one I need to buy, and I know they actually just reissued that like a year ago.
Pope Star just got reissued a couple months ago.
Oh, a couple months ago.
But they did reissue Meliora beginning of this year also. It's a deluxe version. I've got the deluxe version that has Pope Star included on it, so that's why I don't actually have a copy of it. Even though I'll probably end up eventually buying it.
Yeah, but, I think to me normally I would do that. I would say it's part of that package, but I love the album cover for Pope Star, and it's kind of a standalone on for me. I think I'll probably just get that separate.
Yeah.
And it'll be one of those rare occasions when I do pick it up, it'll be a separate purchase.
So I went for the deluxe version of Meliora because that's what got reissued. Mm-hmm. That's what got released. So you actually have to pay more money for just the standard, version of
Pope Star.
Of Meliora.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, staying with the Ghost theme with Ian's pick, is the newest release from Ghost. This is Phantomime. This is an EP that it's probably one of my top 5 albums of the year so far.
Mine too.
And I was really impressed with this. This actually was released this as part of the Impera Expanded Edition that just came out a couple of weeks ago, and I actually didn't even know until they released it that they were connected. I guess, but I guess they were all part of the same recessions. I guess I think it's how they put all the packaging together. It's definitely one of my favorite album covers, though. I love the album cover on this.
Honestly, that kind of puts to shame even some of the '80s stuff. Honestly,
say what you will about Ghost, they have some great music. I know some people love to hate on Ghost, but they do have some great album covers too.
Ghost is probably becoming like one of my top 5 bands of all time.
Yeah. Well, that's all we got for you today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Make sure you drop us a comment down below. Let us know what some of your favorite EPs are, because I could have went on. I definitely had a longer list than Ian did. But
like I said, I just don't. If it's got stuff on it that is on an album, I don't need it.
But me as a punk fan and growing up a punk fan, there's a lot of punk music that's only available on EPs. Never released on any other kind of releases. So like I said, I could have went on a lot longer than just my picks for today. But let us know what you guys think. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give us the old thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. That's all we got. Until next time.
Talk to y'all later.
Keep on spinning. Peace.